Hello everyone and welcome back. Now it feels like I haven't made a video covering Jurassic World Evolution 2 in forever, and really it's only been 4 days, but last time out, one of my most frequently asked questions after the video was regarding the replayability of Jurassic World Evolution 2. And the general recurring theme was, how do I not get bored of the game being a content creator? As well as stuff like, how do I get inspiration for my parks, etc, etc. And with that being said, in today's video though, I wanted to try and sort of help you tackle this issue. And with that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be covering 5 exhibit ideas that I think you should try. Now, if you do go on to build one of these exhibits, feel free to send me it on Twitter or send it in the Discord. I'd love to see what you guys can come up with from just 5 ideas. And let me know down in the comments if you want more content like this, as I'm more than willing to produce videos regarding it if it does help you. And on that note, let's try and hit 30 likes on today's video, because that would be awesome. And if you do go on to enjoy today's video or at all find it helpful, please do consider subscribing. But with that being said, let's get into the video. There's so many reasons for Jurassic World Evolution's downfall, but one of the most notable ones is probably replayability. Now, it may seem like I'm about to go off on a tangent on why Jurassic World Evolution frankly didn't work. However, I feel it's important to note that Jurassic World Evolution 2 is a much more, not so much modular, but sort of expansive version of Jurassic World Evolution, as implied by being the second game in the Jurassic World Evolution saga. So while at times it may seem hard to think of ideas for parks in Jurassic World Evolution 2, just remember that there's so many more possibilities now in comparison to Jurassic World Evolution that I don't necessarily think that if you can't think of anything to build whatsoever, you're necessarily putting enough thought into what direction you should really be taking your park. Which brings me over to my first exhibit idea, which is a park that isn't actually a park. One of my upcoming builds on the channel is actually a recreation of the Isle. So for this park, I didn't actually include any guest amenities or anything like that. I only had a small section temporarily, which I've now removed prior to, actually finishing off this build. So while it might not seem like it's, a very ethical way to approach things, just placing dinosaurs and making your own map and really terraforming it, it is actually quite a fun experience, because you don't have to worry about, getting the perfect curves on your path. It is literally just you and like 3 tabs just to build decorations. You don't have to worry about enclosing your perfect exhibit idea in a small box. You literally have the entire map to let your creativity be unleashed. I didn't actually use invisible fences for this build, but if you want to have your dinosaurs be able to battle and simultaneously let them all roam free without fences, I'd recommend using invisible fences if you don't want to switch off the option to make them so they're not hostile with each other. And one of the biggest benefits to this idea is that it's not enclosed to one map. You can literally do this on any map you want, and if you're someone that likes cinematography, then it's also great for that. Another thing you may well have liked is the Malta sequence in Jurassic World Dominion, and my next idea is actually based off of that. Now, I was thinking, why would the Malta sequence be so exclusive to being hidden underground in the black market if the CIA literally knows about it? Now, I don't know, nor do I much care, because this next exhibit ideas throws realism and legalities out of the window. So when I was coming up with ideas for this build, there's something I really wanted to try and implement, and that's the almost underground aspect of Dominion, but in Jurassic World Evolution 2. And my idea for this was using San Diego. Now, the entire idea for this doesn't actually seem too almost expansive per se, but the basic premise for the build is using the San Diego arena. Build your park off of that, but I'd recommend using storms to make some of your buildings destroyed, because if this is similar to Malta, then it's not exactly high upkeep, all lovey-dovey like it's another Jurassic World. It's a rundown, abandoned facility that would be realistically perfect for fighting dinosaurs. Now, I would love to chuck up a few photos, but to be honest with you, half of the builds I mentioned in today's video, I'm still working on myself, so it does definitely make things a bit difficult. But nonetheless, I still think this is a really cool park build, and you don't actually need too much skill for it, because the entire premise of it is it's an abandoned, rundown facility. that, is now being used for dino fighting. So you don't actually need all this crazy path art because, it's going to be underground dinosaur smugglers that, don't so much care about looking nice. My next exhibit isn't so much a new idea as opposed to an idea I'd like to see more people try and tackle, but it comes in the form of another facility, this time just being a research facility. Now, if you do want inspiration, I'd recommend going over to my DLC only park build, where I did sort of build a research facility of sorts. But I definitely also recommend checking out Evolution Square, because if anyone knows how to build a research facility, it's probably her. And even now, research facilities now are probably easier than ever to build, especially with the new biosyn buildings, because they just look that sort of researchy aesthetic. You can even combine two of my ideas, that being the Isle sort of park as well as a research facility, chuck in a small research compound in your Isle map, and that way you can produce as many dinosaurs as you like. Now, one of my reasons I like the idea of doing a research facility so much is because the dinosaurs are free to roam the park. They're not enclosed in cages, but actually, as a matter of fact, you are. And yet, there's still as high risk as ever that instead of breaking out, you will actually get a break-in from an unprecedented visitor. But yeah, I've always just liked the ideas of research facilities. I feel that they don't require too much skill depending on the sort of size of the facility you're building. But again, they're also just generally quite cool. So yeah, I'd love to see more people try and tackle, and I'd definitely love to see your ideas as well. Now, for my penultimate park on this list, I'd actually love to see people try and use the Sierra Nevada map with feathered dinosaurs only, as well as the Cryolophosaurus, because why not? It lived in the Arctic. I was actually going to do a park build on this a few months ago when the Dominion Biosyn expansion first came out, but I had two problems with this. The first being Evo released her video, which was the exact same idea before me, and I didn't realise that the terrain was uneven, so my park looked an absolute state. So that's my first words of wisdom if you do decide to go through with this idea: flatten the terrain, otherwise you're going to have a big problem to deal with later on. Now, this idea I feel works best with a research facility as opposed to an actual park, because again, it's not like people are going to go all the way out to one of the coldest places on Earth just to see 5 odd dinosaurs. I feel it's more realistic if you do this on the premise of a research facility, because again, it's just a desolate, isolated place in Sierra Nevada. It's not like people are going to come out of their way to go there just to see these creatures, because, of the weather conditions, and generally it just doesn't seem like the place you'd want to build a park. But from what I've seen, my community is generally better at Jurassic World Evolution 2 than me, so it would definitely be cool to see what ideas you can come up with if you do decide to try and tackle on this park. Now, I'm sorry I keep switching between exhibit and park. I meant to say park, that is the title of today's video. It's just, something that comes to my mind when I'm talking about this game. Not sure why, but yeah, I apologise. However, for my last idea, this is going to be one you'll actually see me tackle on relatively soon. It's just build a park on the basis of, a real park. Maybe a theme park, a zoo, anything like that. Just recreate somewhere that's, in real life. All you really need if you want to try and do this is one of those maps that's like an overview of your theme park and or zoo. Personally, I'm going to try and recreate London Zoo because I live in England and it's the first place that came to mind. But yeah, I just feel this is something quite cool because it sort of creates the idea of what would our world be like if Jurassic Park did actually happen and, was a success. It's not going to be picture perfect, obviously, because, there's a lot of unwarranted things, i.e., you can't use the same map size because, they didn't build London Zoo in Jurassic World Evolution 2, nor did they really have limits. But yeah, as I say, this is a build that I want to try and do. I'd love to see what kind of parks or theme parks you base your parks off, and yeah, if you do decide to do it, please do send it over to me on Twitter. I, would love to see what you guys are capable of. And if your park does impress me enough, who knows, you might even make it onto an episode of Jurassic World Evolution 2 this week. However, that does just about wrap up today's video. If you have enjoyed my comfort for 9 or so minutes, please do consider liking and subscribing, it's greatly appreciated. And yeah, let me know down in the comments some park ideas you'd love to see me try, as who knows, I might even try doing it and it might become a video. However, with that being said, thanks for watching, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.